Blake Lively claims that she was only doing the Sony cut. So let's go back to her lawsuit and what she claims about the Sony cut and how she refuses to acknowledge that she took over this movie. This is again another one of those lies that I'm like, if you just told the truth that you did take over this movie, I would be willing to believe the rest of the stuff. But the fact that you try to actively hide your takeover from the world, but at the same time try to drop hints that you did everything, tells me everything I need to know. So let's look at her lawsuit. They said Miss Lively led the edit of Sony's cut of the film, which was the version released in theaters. They start off by saying Mr. Baldoni and the Wayfarer parties have falsely claimed that Miss Lively took over the movie as a self-aggrandizing power play. That's not the case. They just said she took over the movie, and that it required power plays, but I don't think they ever claimed that was the only motivation behind why she did what she did. The defendant's entire accusation would rely on Miss Lively and others fabricating malicious claims nearly a year before an edit, though Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath repeatedly engaged in inappropriate behavior with witness and corroborators in real time. Well, let's look at that statement. There were accusations on May 26th that was made to Anne Gianetti. The corroborators was one corroborator that was Jenny Slate, who also said he said sexy to me on a different time frame. That was it. There's a reason why Alex Sachs did not corroborate anything, even though Ryan Reynolds wanted her to corroborate. And why couldn't Alex Sachs corroborate at that time? Because she said, I never saw these things. I can't say that I know that this happened. She's like, I believe them, I support them, but I can't say that I saw anything because I didn't see anything, right? So corroborators, witnesses, that's a hard sell. It's Jenny Slate and Blake Lively. And that's always been the story, Blake Lively and Jenny Slate. I hate that they always add S's where S's don't exist. There is no other witnesses that has come forward. I don't know who in the world these other witnesses and corroborators are. Is she just talking about her staff, her hair and makeup person, and her assistant? Is she going to have them say stuff? Is that what she's talking about? Because those things got handled back in June. They moved on. Nothing else happened. She didn't make any other accusations in the month of June, except for the crossing the picket line. And then, even more complicated, their accusation would have required Miss Lively to rely on the hope that the Wayfair parties would sign a document acknowledging and agreeing to cease the detailed and specific misconduct described in her claims after writing letters of apology to other female casts 8 months before. Blake, why are you having your lawyers say other female cast? You were one of the letters, and the other one was Jenny Slate. There was no other letter written for anyone else. It was you and Jenny. This is misleading. Also, it was more than hope. You knew you backed them into a corner. There was no way they were going to not allow you to come back. I mean, I wish they did. I just wish they took the financial loss. But you knew you put their back against the wall, especially when you said, I'm sorry, this is not a start of a negotiation. So what exactly was it? Just a hope? It wasn't just a hope. You knew that they could not say no. You put their back to the wall knowing that you were going to use this at some later point to have the upper hand. You knew that. Hope is ridiculous. Hope is about not knowing what the end result was going to be. There is no way that you, who have been in the business for this long, and I don't believe this is the first time, allegedly, that you have done something like this. So you know how to put people's back against the wall. And that is exactly what you did with the 17-point side agreement. And that's why they had to write that little note just to let people know that they were always protesting the 17-point side agreement. And also, most critically, the supposed master plan they absurdly accused Miss Lively of would rely on the hope that Wayfair would never, in that 1.5-year process, launch an HR investigation to clear their innocent names, but instead allow their film to be stolen from them. No, it doesn't. It doesn't require, again, on this hope. Blake Lively said, in lieu of a formal HR process, they also knew that back in May, they acknowledged her concerns. They made changes based off what she requested. The things that she said she had an issue with, they fixed. So what else was there to investigate? They were very responsive to her complaints. So he stopped hugging them, stopped saying the word sexy, because those were the complaints, not all these ludicrous additions that she ended up doing later on. What was there to investigate? Why didn't Blake Lively just allow it to be investigated? When she went to the CRD, they could have investigated, but instead she didn't want an investigation. She wanted to put a complaint through the CRD so she could print it on the New York Times, have the court of public opinion turn on Justin Baldoni, but it didn't work out, did it? It didn't work out because the truth was on his side, not on hers. The assertion Miss Lively bullied her way into the edit room is not only false, but it was not even necessary. This was February 23, 2024. Justin texts his friend Travis Van Winkle. He said, while in fun events, she called producers in Sony today and told them that she will not promote the movie unless she gets to come into the edit, which is private, for the next 7 weeks and edit with me during my director's cut. Travis says, are you effing kidding me? She can't do that. Don't have her promote the movie then. And if people ask her why, then she has to say because he wouldn't let me edit with him during his director's edit. And that really shows she's out of line, man. I'm so sorry, Jay. How is she allowed to blackmail the studio and hijack your edit? The book already has a built-in fan base. You don't need her to promote. Sony has to put an end to this and protect you, Justin. Please call her bluff. I hope somehow you can call her bluff. Who the hell does she think she is? Has this ever happened before? Can't be the first time. What have the studios done in the past when an actor pulled some like this? There has to be a precedent for something like this that protects you. And Justin says she has the nuclear bomb. If she doesn't promote the movie, she can leak that I'm a bad person or that she felt unsafe with me and all the stuff she has on me. Then she's the victim. It's the Taylor Swift playbook. So she can ask for whatever she wants because she knows I know. And Travis goes, who did Taylor Swift do this to? And what happens if she leaks all this stuff? Is that something you're willing to stand up to in order to make this your movie? Or is this a swallow your pride kind of thing again and again and again? Isn't there power in you having all the stuff on her and Ryan as well? I'm so sorry, man. This is never ending BS coming at you. And Justin said Scooter, when he bought her catalog, started when Kanye took the mic from her and she became the innocent victim. Lots of her music is about ex-boyfriends. They know I don't have any real power. Travis goes, so what's the move? Have her co-edit with you for the next 7 weeks? Justin says she's leaving in 4 weeks for her next movie. So she said, unless she edits, she won't promote and we have to move release date. It's her strategy. But I can't let her in until I know what the movie is. It's like letting someone in while you're figuring out what to paint. So it's a Chinese finger trap like everything else. Travis says, how does the studio allow this? They should have your back. It's your idea. You acquired it, spearheaded the whole thing, brought it to Sony. This literally zaps the life out of the process, the joy of making movies, the whole reason behind it, to touch and move people, to make them smile, feel, laugh, cry, think. And Justin said, nope, they just want the movie to do well and they can't release a movie the star doesn't promote. Blake knows this, oldest trick in the book. Travis says, my eye is twitching for you. So you invite her in with open arms and a smile. And Justin says, don't know, trying to figure it out. Travis says, I'd call Zwick back, get his advice, or whatever heavy hitter director friends you have. I'm sure this isn't the first time this has happened. Justin said, it's tricky. You don't know who is allegiance to them. Travis says, it's all effing quicksand. Ugh. What's Baha'u'llah Abdul Baha telling you to do? Justin says, don't know. Gotta sit with it longer. The risk to my family isn't worth the creative integrity. That's what I know. And then Travis liked that statement. And Travis then said, would it be wild to just give it over to her, all of it, have her name be under as director and you just the actor and let her edit the whole thing? Justin says, I can't do, working out. And Travis says, love you, Jay. Somehow, maybe this is beautiful chaos. I don't know about you, but that feels like bullying. I feel like that's blackmail. I feel like that's extortion. I feel like that's putting a boot on somebody's neck. But that's just me, I guess. If she was not happy with the film, she could have easily just moved on to her next project. She had offers for directing jobs before, during, and since the film. If she wanted to direct, she could do that at any time and without having to deal with the Wayfarer parties, whom she very clearly wanted nothing to do with. Okay, sure. We would have loved it if Blake Lively went that route, but she did not, did she? She had B for Effort, and guess what? It was B for Effort, which is the dumbest name for a production company, but it was F for Execution. She had multiple movies announced that will be coming out. They even announced she had a directorial debut movie coming out. And guess what? None of those movies came out. And I think they're all DOA. So was it so easy for her? Because she had a production company and couldn't get one movie off the ground. And so many job offers even before, during, and since the film? Since the film? Since the film? Okay. Then why were you asking for damages? It is clear that Blake Lively was desperate for this movie. She was desperate for it not to be a flop, and her controlling ways made it sure, like, I got to make sure that this is a success, and the only way it's going to be a success is if I take control over this. And she wanted it to be her face. She didn't want young Lily. She didn't want Isabel Ferrer taking up the space in that movie. It was going to be her movie. She was going to be the breakout. She was going to get the franchise that her husband has been wanting to find for her, because she ruined the other franchise of another movie she took over, allegedly, The Rhythm Section, which was supposed to be a franchise. She ruined that franchise. It never got off the ground. And she took over, allegedly, over that one as well. The story of the edit of the film is not relevant to Miss Lively's claims of sexual harassment and retaliation. It is a red herring designed to distract the public away from the grave misconduct by the defendants. Absolutely not. It is not a red herring. It is the basis for everything. Anybody who's focusing on this didn't lose the plot. It is the plot. And the fact that you try to hide the plot, the fact that you try to bury the lead, tells me Blake Lively knew what she did was wrong. Because if she didn't believe that it was important, she would not be denying that she didn't take over this movie. She took over this movie. The Sony cut is the film that was chosen to be released in theaters. Miss Lively led the Sony cut with their support, working in close collaboration with Sony and Colleen Hoover. Oh, really? So let's look at what Sony was actually saying about Blake Lively. And let's see if this was what Sony wanted. She claims it's the Sony's cut, but let's look at what Sanford Panich, who is the president of Sony, and Ange Giannetti, who was on the set with It Ends With Us, had said on June 19, 2024. Is the It Ends With Us premiere on Tuesday the 9th? Do you know where it will be held? I can't believe they caved on the producer credit for her. Ange says she wants to change credits, all the order of prods, her second position moving Jamie to third, EPs, cast order, single cards, cut film by, move cast crawl before keys. Having been dealing with this since 9 a.m., I'm thrilled they did. Are they saying yes to that too? This is truly insanity. And Ange says this is all in NYC. The junket, Sunday 8/4 and Monday 8/5, Four Seasons downtown. Premiere Tuesday 8/6, AMC Lincoln Square TBD. The pre-reception is now looking like a small after party. Here's the thing. Ange says Wayfarer doesn't even know all this. And we cannot renegotiate cast deals so she can move kids up. No time. No movie cast crawl before keys, even though she wants Sony to call guilds to get. She can try for PGA credit. She expects Sony, aka me, to persuade Wayfarer to agree to remove a film by Justin Baldoni and move her producer credit before theirs. Getting them to approve giving her a producer credit was Herculean. She just turned over her editorial changes to cut after Dallas. So going to watch now, report back. Sanford says, I don't want to ask them to do that for her. She can ask herself. We bent over backwards enough. This is getting now to the point of absurdity. Maybe you had your little lapdog, Josh Greenstein, telling you everything you wanted to hear to make you believe that Sony wanted this. I don't know. I don't know how you got to this place where you genuinely believe that people wanted your cut. But it is clear that they thought what you were doing was completely absurd and out of line, and that they were surprised that Wayfarer actually said, fine. You should be thankful that you dealt with people that were genuinely kind. The way you hate their faith, but yet at the same time try to weaponize that faith against them by being able to do everything that you did, because you knew that they were kind of going to just take it. Because if they didn't, then you're already out here trying to claim that they're not who they claim to be. So, I mean, anyways, I don't trust you, Blake. If you enjoyed or anything in this video resonated with you, please like it. And if you're not subscribed to me yet, please consider it. Thank you.